who knows these characters better than I know these characters? They've been part of my life for 28 years. So when Cryptic called, we said, can we come up with some stories? I know this stuff, so it would seem like a natural fit.
The biggest challenge for us as fans and as devs was to be able to do it justice. That's really what we wanted to hit as far as that quality bar, and what we really wanted to do as fans ourselves is we wanted to get this stuff in that we worked with you on and have it feel really good, and then have players experience over and over again.
And the video games can serve the same purpose of allowing me to find those side stories about some of my characters that I haven't had time or the place yet to put in a novel that we can explore in a different format, and I love it. Drizzt is really good-hearted, but that's his role. Drizzt is the hero. He's who I wish I had the courage to be.
What we really wanted to do was make sure that we captured the essence of that iconic character. Not just Drizzt, but Point as well, and Bruenor. To make sure that not only did their armor look accurate, but their features also, and then not just the character models, but also how they acted in game and how they acted alongside the player when the player was going through their story.
I always love it when the races nobody takes seriously show a little more insight and conniving nature. One of the reasons I love the Drow, not as player characters, but as monsters, is because in the old D&D, first level Dark Elves in the Underdark, wearing the right gear, could take on a party of 5th level adventurers and kick the tar out of them and humble them, and then even if they won, the gear would be no use to them. So that was what really made Drow so much fun for me as an evil DM. And I am. As I was realizing Gauntlgrim in the books, it was, going right over to the people at Cryptic, so we'd all have the same taste, the same flavor for the world in our thoughts and at the tip of our tongue when we were starting to describe it. And I think it translated beautifully because I've seen it now and I've played it now. And yeah, that's Gauntlgrim. And I see the Dwarven Throne Room and I go, yep, that's the Dwarven Throne Room. That works. It's funny because when I'm writing the books and I go to Icewind Dale, I just get this feeling like I've come home. And it just feels really cold and clean and fun. Just watching what's happened in our world is they've found all these new caves with glowworm ceilings and glowing lichen and all these other amazing crystal formations and things. The Underdark just became a more interesting place. It's kind of like a truth call on the characters.
There's unknowns there, there's mysteries, there's exploration that's possible there.
You really get to know who people are when they're under pressure. Anybody can be kind and generous when everything's going well, but when that person's under pressure, that's when the true character comes out. I would DM a game for all of the people who read the short stories in the collected stories of The Legend of Drizzt, because that would include Melissa Roche, Sean Astin, Will Wheaton, Felicia Day, Weird Al Yankovic, David Duchovny, Ice-T. Can you imagine a D&D game with that crew? I would have Ice-T swearing at me, which is probably really easy to get him to do that. In the book, you want the reader to fill in the details, the physical details around the story, but you're giving them all the information about the heroes. In the video game, it's almost the opposite, where you're giving them all the visual details of the story, but what you want is for them to write their own story within the context of the setting you've given them. So you always have to be aware when you're working on a video game that the most important character in the story you're writing isn't Drizzt or Bruenor or Point or anyone like that. It's the character the player is playing, because he or she is the one writing the story. This is their book. It's their game.